Hello, hello, long time no see, me amigos. Well, I got two things that I want to sort of announce, and one of them I'm actually going to be starting this video, and that's basically what this video is. But I'm going to be getting back vlogging again, and talking to a couple friends. They were really about it, and there are people who actually do want to see me vlog, and also just seeing people around school who do film, and doing stuff on their shit has maybe been like, I should probably start doing this again because I'm a bit more comfortable around other people who do this, and I've talked to people who are supportive of if I would do this. So there's always that. Take off my sock because it's torn to shit. What I'm here today to do, and what I'm going to be doing tomorrow and Sunday, at just sort of random times, because I don't really feel like planning this shit. I'm going to be speaking about the stuff that's happened in Florida and just everything to do with that sort of situation, both locally, well, not both locally, but that includes locally, politically, and always, and then I think I might also do a fourth part, just sort of summarizing everything, or I might tie that into the third part, but so at school today at 11:30 during our 6-hour class, we had a walkout where students, if they wanted to, could walk out to our track on the by the parking lot, and that was student organized, and basically what was discussed was the need to come together as a school and as a community to get tweets from Syndicate that he's live streaming. But to come together to use love as a combatant for hate, to let unity drive change, and to let, basically just to be there for one another, and that a lot of these things happen, these shootings, because that pain that people go through, it boils up and it boils up and it balls up, and it just doesn't go anywhere. And so they resort to taking the lives of others as a vent for their misery, is basically what was sort of said. Now, this was certainly an incredible experience for me, because I'm not a very protestful guy. I'm not very socially active. Never really been to a protest or a walkout or anything like that before. And it wasn't a protest. It wasn't anything politically fueled. It was simply just to call for unity, and it was, supervised by our principal and some other higher ups within our school. And there was 17 minutes of silence is what was called for. I mean, it wasn't completely silent because some people just can't stay silent, but some people were crying. Some people were, very upset and very touched and just very emotional. And I think a lot of that came to a head when pretty much all of us started as a small circle of like 3 people or 4 people or whatever, and then eventually just one by one we all joined and we became this one giant circle, all holding hands together. And for the first time I could really look at a huge, or not necessarily even a huge, but just a good chunk of the student body all in one place, all in one frame. And not just all in one frame, but as one, all in unison, all holding hands, all just just all there. And it was a very surreal thing, because that's just not something that you get to do. For the peace that was there, and for the love that was there, and just the acceptance that was there was just unbelievable. And it was certainly something that was kind of hard to take in, and just overwhelming, because that's, like I said, not something that you get to experience. And there was a lot of talking, a lot of addressing and readdressing the same issues, the same points. We read aloud the names of all of those who had died, the 17 people who had died. Some stories were told about some of the people who had died and how they had died, and just their bravery for protecting their friends or their students and putting others' lives in front of theirs, and being brave and being righteous and being kind. And something happened during this gathering that I didn't expect, but I'm so glad that it did. I cried. I've been feeling frustrated, very angry at this whole situation. So if I'm ever, sitting in school and this subject happens to creep into my mind, and those lost happen to creep into my mind, I'm very grateful that, I could give them the time of day, both those who lost their lives and those who survived, and everyone affected by this. And being able to get a decent chunk of students together to remember those who were lost, and to honor those who had been lost, and to call for peace, and to call for change, call for happiness, call for an end to this cycle of murder. It was certainly very moving for me. And that peace of mind, the fact that this became about lives and not about politics or positions or political agendas or laws, even for a split second for me, was a wonderful thing. Because these weren't lives lost, or they were lives lost. These weren't rules that weren't upheld and that were broken. These weren't, a case of bullying. This wasn't about people not being able to come together to agree on a policy. This shooting, at the core, is about the lives unnecessarily taken by the gunman, whose name I cannot recall off the top of my head. I think it's Nicholas Cruz or something like that, but it's irrelevant for right now, although it is very relevant in the grand scheme of things. Just for this video, that's not relevant. But, I mean, this sense of peace and this search for peace, it was pretty temporary, at least for me, because as soon as I got home, I saw the Humanist Report, and I saw how certain politicians are trying to bend it one way and distract from the actual issue and all this and that, how it's about this or it's about that. And once again, I was re-enveloped into the politics side of it, which I'm a bit upset about, because this is more than just a political issue. This is a moral issue, this is a societal issue, and this is a human issue. This isn't pen needing to be put, well, it is pen needing to be put to paper, but it's so much more than that. And I'll do the political side of things probably tomorrow, and I'll get all politically and politicsy and dive into my sort of analysis of everything that's happened and on the political spectrum, and just what needs to be done on that front, in my opinion, and sort of my 2 cents on the whole political portion of this whole debacle. And then I'll be doing a third and maybe a fourth portion, if I can remember what those 2 would be. Summary, and then something else, like the legislative hand of what action could be taken, but that might get lumped into the political, whatever. Just, you'll see when it comes. So I think for now this has been Goji. I'm headed out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.